I'm Theo.
And I'm Scarlett.
And welcome to the Theo's Book Club podcast, where we talk about queer books.
And the name Randy.
Today's book is Camp by LC Rosen.
You should check out our website, theosbookclub.com, where you can hear more of Theo's thoughts on the book. You can find a link to purchase a copy of the book for yourself, and you can join the conversation in our forums.
And if you're like Scarlett and like to read books with your ears, I suggest checking out theosbookclub.com/audible, where you can sign up for a free trial and have access to all your favorite books.
That's theosbookclub.com/AUDIBLE to start a free trial and help support the podcast.
And the best part is, you get a free book download that you can keep forever.
So please share this with your friends and family, push the like button, and also the subscribe button.
Now let's go talk about camp.
Queer books and queer topics and queer people that won't stop talking. So read and chat it up at Theo's Book Club.
Our book of the day, Camp by LC Rosen. So, Scarlett, judge this book by its cover. Oh, you gotta hold it.
Well, yeah, I have to touch it. What if
Right,
there's
sorry.
feel? What if there's a sensory element to this book?
Is there?
No.
Okay.
It's a soft matte finish. Actually, if you like petting things, this is a good book. It's very soft, feels good. Anywho.
Actually, for the people listening, why don't you describe what it looks like first?
Okay. There's wood, but on top of the wood is what looks like sort of like a camp badge, like something you would get in Boy Scouts. And it says camp, but it's all sequins. And then there's two blue figures at the front going up a yellow brick road to a rainbow tent. So, hi, gay.
All right. So based on this cover, Scarlett, what is this book about?
Oh, well, it could be 2 to 3 things. My first thought, when you first said the title,
Yeah.
I thought the theme for the Met Gala that one year,
Mm-hmm.
camp.
Okay.
I also thought, I have to see it still.
Right.
You can't take the picture away. Seeing the sequence, this could be like an arts and crafts camp.
Are you
like,
saying sequence? Are you trying to say sequins?
sequence?
This is a Roxy Andrew moment, everyone. Sequins.
Yeah, sequence.
You're saying sequence?
Sequence.
It's sequins.
What? How do you spell it? What's the difference? How do you spell sequence?
Well, sequence is like a
Sequence,
repeating
yeah,
thing, and,
How do you spell?
sequins
Yeah.
are what these are.
Okay, sequence. I almost said penguins. Okay, well, I thought maybe
There are no penguins on the cover.
looking
of
at
this
the
book.
cover, it could be arts and crafts because of the sequins.
Good job.
Thank you. But also, it's like obviously church camp because they're gay.
What?
You know what I mean?
Church camp because they're gay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know how church camp is like everyone says you shouldn't do it, so like everybody's gonna be
Right.
a little gay.
Okay. Great options. Really good stuff there.
Am I close at all?
Okay, so it's a gay camp.
Oh, it's a gay camp.
It's a gay camp.
Now, when you say that, is that like fat camp? Where they send you to be less fat? Have they sent them to be less gay?
No,
at gay
no,
camp?
it's not a conversion camp.
No,
It's a
no.
camp for queer children.
Oh, we're
Like, it
excited
celebrates
about gay here.
and-
Okay. Oh, well, that's
and-
fun.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Okay.
great. I really want to go to a gay camp. Not at, I'm almost 30, but
Well, I'm sure they do it for adults as well. I think that's just like cruises. I think that's gay
yeah,
camp
we just
for
gotta
adults.
hit the high seat. Camp is about our main character named Randy, and he goes to this.
His name's Randy.
His name is Randy. Yes,
I bet there's a lot of sex in this book.
Randy Kapplehoff.
Chef's kiss.
Scarlett approves of the name of the main character.
That's great.
Randy Kapplehoff goes to this camp every year, so he's been going for a couple years. And
How old is Randy?
So Randy is 16, I believe. Yeah, he is 16.
Okay.
He's been going to this camp for years. He's madly in love with another camper named Hudson, who is famously mask for mask. Theme of the day, internalized homophobia, everyone.
Right.
So Randy has spent the entire school year between these summers of camps completely changing every aspect of himself to be this like masculine gay man that he thinks Hudson's gonna like.
Okay.
So when he gets to camp, Hudson doesn't even recognize him, and a lot of the other campers don't, except some of his best friends at the camp, who are great.
Okay.
But he still lives in the cabin with his friends. So there's this whole thing this whole time of like you're not being yourself, and you're putting it on for someone who has like questionable preferences.
Okay.
So that's kind of the theme of the book is, changing yourself and your identity to fit someone else's like preference and like what are preferences in the queer community, Spoilers ahead, Randy and Hudson do start getting together. Hudson immediately starts flirting with him, not thinking that he's Randy. He goes by Dell. So, and then, he misses out on all the stuff he loves about camp. He's like a theater kid at heart. Can relate.
Arts and crafts, the sequins.
Yeah, he still does get to go to the arts and crafts cabin, which is nice. He like opts for all like the sports electives that Hudson's in, but he doesn't mean he doesn't get to do the summer musical with all of his friends.
Right.
And he lives in the cabin with them. So it's like they do this big queer musical every year. In this book, they are doing Bye Bye Birdie that summer, but like the way that the camp counselor casts it is like free of like gender constraints or sexuality constraints. So it's like anyone can play any part. Okay. And it's this like incredible big queer musical every year, and it's obviously what Randy lives for, and like opts out of it this year, and everyone's kind of disappointed that that's happening, but they are such good friends that they support him no matter what. If his thing is to be with Hudson, they will support him changing everything about himself.
I don't know if those are good friends.
Well, it is. I did make it sound like they're enabling him. They do often tell him like,
okay.
You can just, I don't know if this is good. Like, I don't know if this is good for you. I don't know if you're doing this for the right reasons.
Okay.
Like, we're going to support you as friends, but we're also going to tell you like, not the vibe. The first thing I think we should dive into is the internalized homophobia of mask for mask. And if you don't know what mask for mask is, it's this kind of preference as a gay man, usually, of being a masculine gay man and wanting only interactions with, usually romantic or sexual, with other masculine presenting men. Thoughts?
My concern is that it's internalized homophobia.
100%.
With the sprinkling of misogyny.
It's so misogynistic.
Yeah.
And they talk about that in the book too. It's like, well, how far off base is this from like preferences on like ethnicities? Like, is it different? And it's like, no.
That would be racist.
It's racist. This is misogynistic, and that is racist. So it's just like, but what defines a preference versus like, you think one kind of person is better than another kind of person?
Like, how would I define preferences?
No, I think that's just what that's the question the book kind of poses, right? Is like, if you're claiming to be mask, for example, are you doing it because it's a preference as you're describing it, or is it more of like, you truly believe that like masculine gay men are superior? And Hudson, the character in question, describes this a lot in the book, where he always has these moments of like, I don't want to be like the gay men we see on TV. I don't want to be a stereotype. So he's like battling with the way he's presenting himself as a queer person, because he's like, oh, when I come to camp, I can be queer here, but I can also, I finally find other queer people like me, like other masculine queer people, because I don't want to be like those queers on TV kind of vibe.
Right.
And it's like, that point is true, right? There's not one kind of queer person. We don't feed into stereotypes.
Yeah,
like,
it's interesting how our trauma as queer people so often informs the way we perpetuate trauma upon other queer people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And that actually is really good. One of my favorite quotes from the book.
Here's the thing. I am incredibly smart. I just don't like reading.
They say, someone you loved said something terrible to you. That's trauma. Terrible things happen to you are never an excuse to do them to someone else. Much on your point, right? We can't let the trauma that we...
Brilliant. I am brilliant. I think it's my takeaway from this quotation. Why don't we take a break and we'll come back and talk about more of my brilliance?
Sounds good.
Do you wear clothes? How about shirts? This is a really cool one from everybody on stage. They're sick. Watch this. Whoa! You've never seen someone put on a shirt like that before. If you want to get one of these cool shirts, go to everybodyonstage.com/Theo and use the code Theo for 20% off. Theo's doing it. Okay, Theo, tell me more about how brilliant I am.
All right. So moving on from that.
Rude.
As a self-proclaimed theater kid myself, I don't know how you feel about that, Scarlett.
You are a theater kid, yes.
Great. I just want to point out one quote from the book that made me laugh really hard. And
before you say it,
yeah,
I will then rate the quote on a scale of 1 to 10 on how funny it actually is. Whether it's funny to you or funny in the world. Okay, hit me with the quote.
So, pretty much the character says.
Sorry, pretty much the character says, or this is exactly what's written on the page? Will you be paraphrasing this quotation, or will you be reading from the book in your hand?
The book. This
Okay,
is not a paraphrase.
so exactly, the character says.
So one of the characters is like, "Why did you guys enter the room together? What's going on? Did Andrew Lloyd Webber finally write a good musical?"
That's the
quote.
big quote.
I laughed really hard when I read that.
I'm laughing that you're laughing. Like, that's funny. That's funny for sure. I give that a 6 out of 10.
You're not a theater kid.
I give it a 6 out of 10. I got the reference.
You know what? We passed. I just wanted to highlight that quote. Scarlett, is that okay?
I enjoyed it. I appreciate you sharing.
I also just wanted to roast Andrew Lloyd Webber, I guess.
Yeah, fair
on
enough.
the podcast.
Fair enough.
So we talked a little bit about Hudson's internalized homophobia. Take a guess where it comes from.
Oh, his dad.
Family trauma.
Nailed it.
Biggest theme of the book. As is often the case. So we find out that his parents don't really love
gay people?
Not kind of. It's more of the outward display of queerness, or what Hudson would describe as like a stereotype of queerness. Like that is very much like Hudson describes very sweetly his relationship with his grandmother, who like was very supportive of him, put him in makeup for the first time, all that fun stuff.
That's cute.
When he was discovered by his parents, no bueno. Bad news. Not good. His mother called him a slur. And that stayed with Hudson like forever. Yeah, so again, the quote I said before the break, kind of like the trauma other people have, they shouldn't be putting on you, is totally right. We do understand kind of why Hudson feels the way he does, though. You know, he's not a one-dimensional character. Most of my notes, I have the most notes on this book of anything else I've prepared, because half of them are boo Hudson after so many things he says in the book.
Oh, we have thoughts and feelings. Okay, great.
I just like tabbed so many homophobic things he says, which are obviously his internalized homophobia, just with boo Hudson. So it's nice to have a character like that.
Does he redeem himself?
Yes, very, very much. And but it's nice to watch his own journey throughout.
Okay.
There is a very tense moment where
he almost kisses a girl.
No. No, not quite. Good guess though.
Oh, really?
That is a good guess. No.
Oh.
It is a queer camp, folks. Like we said at the beginning.
Well, girls can be queer too. There's probably girls there as well.
Not what I meant. Not what I meant.
No, how does he redeem himself?
So, well, before he redeems himself, he actually really messes everything up big time.
Oh, okay.
Randy comes clean about who he is and how he's been putting on. And
Randy.
You gotta get over that. And Hudson does call him the slur that Hudson's mom called him. It's a very tense moment.
Okay.
I won't say the word in case, you know, I know some people have a complicated relationship with it. So it is in the book. And, but Randy does kind of reclaim it for his own. He goes, yeah, I am that.
Okay.
It's a beautiful scene.
Okay.
I think it's so important. I don't want to say it, obviously, in case that does, you know, stick not well with some people. But I think it's a very important scene, you know, owning the word and kind of being like, yeah, I am that. And it's not the connotation you mean it to be, right? Like it is me. And it's not a bad thing.
Okay.
And I want to be myself without these restrictions. And I want to be myself without pretending to be someone you want me to be, right? So, you know, they do reconcile after that.
Okay.
And in a very genuine way. Like, it did not feel like the book is ending and Hudson is now good. Right? Like, he has work to do. And it's very obvious. And Randy's actually rubbing off on him in a really good way.
Okay.
And then we see his parents come down to the camp at the end, Hudson's parents, because all the parents come to watch the, like, end of Camp Musical. Yeah, his parents suck, dude. They're bad.
Right.
They're straight up, like, homophobic people. Even if, you know.
But they still pay for gay camp?
Yeah, they do explain to Randy, like, you know, I think it's because of the bond he had with his grandmother, who is the one that found him the camp, that they keep sending him.
The grandmother founded the camp.
No, found the camp for Hudson. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I think it's on her good graces and her memory of her, she did pass away, that they do keep sending him there.
Okay.
I think it's also kind of a trade-off for him not acting like a stereotype of a queer person the rest of the year, that he gets to go to the camp.
Right.
Because it's not like tainting him, or it's not making him more queer.
Yeah. It's like our normal life friends won't see you be gay.
Exactly.
Go be gay here
go
for
be
2
gay
weeks.
there and don't come back different than you were, right? There's a really cool moment where Randy's parents, who are like incredibly supportive of him, kind of talk to Hudson's parents. We don't see it, but the implication is like maybe they'll rub off on them, right? Like maybe Hudson and Randy's relationship is good for everyone.
Right.
Hudson's learning from Randy. Maybe his parents will learn from Randy's parents. Hopefully, right? Maybe seeing other parents who are accepting of their child
Yeah.
is going to rub off on them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Because they also don't know Randy. Like, we don't know, again, the book is kind of, we don't know how they're going to react to Randy and Hudson's relationship. Like, Randy is like a very like flamboyant, which is great. And he's unapologetically himself. But we don't know how Hudson's parents are going to react to that.
Do they meet?
We don't see Randy really have like a big interaction with Hudson's parents.
Okay.
But the other point I want to make is one of the counselors does talk about near the end of the book, Hudson, as he's kind of exploring everything with Randy and they're kind of reconciling, Hudson's like, I want you to put me back in makeup like my grandma did. Like so Hudson, like, who has been kind of like saying homophobic things about like queer men wearing makeup and like feminine things like that, wants Randy to put him into it. And he's like, I'm gonna, like, this is, I want this, you know, I want this, and I don't care. And one of the counselors does explain to Randy, it's like, he has to take the makeup off before his parents come because we have to make sure that he's safe at home. It's like, we have to make sure they let him come back here next year, and we have to make sure that they're not going to keep him away from camp, that they're not going to disown him, that they're not going to hurt him.
Right.
He has to take off the makeup before they come.
That hurts.
It's tough, but it's the reality of the situation, you know?
Right.
Let's take another break here.
Okay.
All right. And then we'll come back with some more camp.
I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. We've really enjoyed talking to you about the books today. We just want to take this moment to let you know about Audible. Really fantastic service where you can actually listen to books. You don't have to read. How cool is that? If you go to theosbookclub.com/audible, that's theosbookclub.com/audible, you can start a free trial today. And the best part is you'll get to download a book and keep that one for free. So after you've heard it, you can hear it again whenever you want. Audible. Noise.
Welcome back, Scar. You know, sometimes we have to be very aware of like people's situations and maybe the unsafe environments they're in, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, we want you to be unapologetically yourself and we want you to express yourself the way you want, but you're still underage and we want you to be safe. Your safety and your, you know, and your ability to be coming to this safe space every year is more important, you know?
Love that.
Yeah. I highly recommend this book.
What's your favorite quote from the book?
Favorite quote? Ooh. Did I already read it?
One that was actually a good quote and not just an Andrew Lloyd Webber joke. Please.
Okay. Here's a theater quote I love because theater kid, and the book is about that a lot too.
Neat.
Because theater is who we are. Those identities aren't different.
I'm sorry. I thought when you started saying the quote that you were justifying the quote you were about to say. Because theater is who we are. You want to do that one more time?
I'm going to take it one more time because the quote starts now. Because theater is who we are. Those identities aren't different costumes we try on. They're different facets of us, different bits of truth. And it takes bravery to show those truths to the outside world. I love that.
That's nice.
It's nice.
What's your other favorite quote you have starred there?
Oh, I already said that one.
Oh, that's the Andrew Lloyd Webber one?
No, we already talked about that, about trauma and not giving it to someone else.
I remember.
Stop looking at my notes.
I remember what happened 20 minutes ago.
Oof. All right, Scarlett.
That's a good segue.
I was going to say, before you combust on us, we just talked about this book for 20 minutes, Scarlett. Yeah. What's it about?
Randy, which is a name you should not name your children because they think that's what you say when somebody's horny. They're Randy. Don't name their kid Randy.
Oh my God, Scarlett.
So Randy goes to summer camp because Hudson's a hottie, and they change themselves to be with Hudson, and then they do end up together. And then their parents come and pick them up and take them home at the end of the summer. And that's camp.
That's pretty spot on. I genuinely thought you were going to get that wrong, to be honest. I did not think you were listening to me.
I mean, that's fair.
You usually don't listen to me when I talk.
Well, it's not my fault. It's hard to concentrate sometimes. And you keep going on about Andrew Lloyd Webber.
I said it once and you didn't laugh, and everyone gets to watch that now. So that's super fun for me. Well, this has been great. Camp by LC Rosen. I highly recommend it. It is a good read. It's a good time.
The cover looks really cool.
Yeah. It also talks a lot about queer history that we should absolutely know. If you think queer history, example Stonewall, is not important, you fix yourself.
You really buried the lead on the history, eh? Like, that would have been an interesting conversation topic.
We
got Randy for 5 minutes.
I do want people to discover that part of the book for themselves, though.
Okay.
I don't want to sit. I don't want to teach
enough.
you queer history. Go read about it. Read about it in the book. Go look it up. It's so important. And if you think it's not, you're wrong.
What he said.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this conversation and you want to check out camp, visit THEO'SBookClub.com, where you can find out some more of my thoughts about it and also purchase the book.
Nice.
Any last words, Scar?
My favorite thing about camp growing up was s'mores and chili.
You heard it here.
And hot dogs.
Okay. All right. Thanks, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Theo's Book Club is executive produced by Greg Crothers for Everybody on Stage. This episode is written by Robert Popoli and Chelsea Jane Bray. Our producer is Denise Niles, with production assistance by Alicia Tablin, directed by Greg Crothers. Our theme song is written and performed by Robert Popoli and mixed and mastered by Rob Russo.
TheO'sBookClub.com